What's up, everybody? This is my Falcon the Winter Soldier episode 2, the Star-Spangled Man review, and I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was way better than last week's, and it was just really good. It was funnier than last episode too. This episode really improved on, I think the main part that it mainly improved on was that Sam and Bucky actually shared scenes in this episode, which was the biggest downfall last episode. It's called Falcon the Winter Soldier, but I'm rambling. Let's roll that intro. This episode starts off with John Walker in his old high school locker room about to go on stage and do something, but Lamar Hopkins appear and they talk and blah blah blah, but then John goes out and signs a bunch of stuff and an action figure, and look at that suit. I would love a Marvel Legends 6-inch action figure of that, maybe. I don't know, we're nerds. If you're watching this. No, you're not. Well, anyway, John is being interviewed by Good Morning America, which is ABC's morning show. So that's why it's Good Morning America. But he's being interviewed by Good Morning America, and they say his stats are off the chart. And John says that Steve Rogers was like a brother to him, even though he never met him, which Bucky didn't take too kindly to that and didn't really like that comparison. But then Bucky meets with Sam, and Bucky discusses like, you shouldn't have gave up that shield, and where you going? I'm coming with you. And throughout this, Bucky mentions Gandalf, and Sam's like, you know, how do you know Gandalf? And Bucky's like, I read The Hobbit when it first came out in 1937, which means Bucky's a nerd. Bucky's a nerd. So then, they're having a staring contest. They have many during this episode, many staring contests. But then, Sam's like, what's your plan? Bucky's like, what's your plan? And Sam doesn't really he has one, but he doesn't tell Bucky. And Bucky's like, oh, alright. Whatever. And then Sam jumps out of the plane. He has the Falcon tech, and Bucky's like, talks to, I forgot his name, it's Sam's friend, and he says, where's the parachute? And Sam's friend says, we're too low to shoot. So then Bucky just jumps out of the plane like Cap would have, and since he has the super soldier serum or something, it doesn't hurt him. But Falcon has Red Wing and is like, I caught that all on camera, blah blah blah. But then they sneak into this base where the Flag Smashers are moving vaccines, we learn, and Sam calls Bucky the White Panther because he's being really sneaky, and Bucky goes, it's White Wolf actually, which is what they called him in Wakanda when he was there. And I think Bucky liked Wakanda much more than America, because Bucky said it was more peaceful. But anyway, they banter, they almost get caught, but Red Wing's thermal scan shows that there's someone inside the truck, so they think they have a hostage. So then they follow the truck. Bucky runs in because he's like super soldier, and finds this girl who is the leader of the Flag Smashers, and this girl punches Bucky out onto this side of the truck. So then Falcon and Sam and Bucky fight all these super soldiers, and they are losing because they are super soldiers. But then John Walker and Lamar Hopkins jump down, and I really love John Walker's suit. I'm gonna say that again. John Walker throws the shield, and Sam Bucky catches it during the fight, and you can see Bucky doesn't want to give it up, but then Lamar Hopkins falls off the truck, and you can see how maybe John has the super soul serum or whatever, and he's just not telling everybody, because when Lamar falls off, he throws the shield and saves Lamar from getting ripped up by the road. I don't know, but then Bucky, it's the scene from the trailer where he's under the car, and also Red Wing gets broken, but then Falcon saves them, and they roll in the grass, and I bet they both really enjoyed this much. I bet I would love, no, I'm just kidding, shippers be like, Falcon and Bucky, no, they're just friends, but it's okay if you like that. Then they're talking, they're just bantering, about that, and Sam's like, oh, your robot brain's malfunctioning, oh, I see the gears turn, I see the smoke, but then, John Walker is there to try to pick them up, and he's like, it's 20 miles to the airport, why don't you ride with us? And then, John Walker says they should team up and everything, and, Sam and Bucky aren't about that, and, Lamar Hopkins' name is, I don't know why it was so important that name that it made Bucky so mad, but Bucky didn't like that Lamar Hopkins had a name or something. I don't know if it's Bucky's name from World War II or anything. Maybe they'll reveal that later, but Bucky gets out because he's mad, and then so does Sam because John calls Sam Cap Swing Man. But anyway, then Bucky tells Sam that he has to show Sam something, or because he has to tell Sam something, because that Sam never knew, or something that Steve never knew. God. So then they go to, I have no idea. I think it's somewhere in Massachusetts. Massachusetts. God, I'm butchering that. But they go down, and they meet this kid who Sam roasts. Sam does roast that kid. I'm sorry. That kid is, well, then they knock on a door, and Eli Braley is there from the comics, and it says there's no Isaiah Bradley, but then there's Isaiah Bradley, and they go inside and they meet him, and they're kind of making him mad, and we learn Isaiah Bradley's whole story about how he was a black super soldier from and all the good he did, and no one knew about him, and all the good he did, he got thrown away in prison for 30 years, and he kicks them out of his house. I really hope we get to see the flashbacks of when he fought Bucky, but then they go outside, and Sam's like, how could Steve never know about this, blah blah blah, but then some cops pull up and say, is this man bothering you, to Bucky, and you can see that cop has his hand on his gun when he's talking to Sam, and it's just messed up, man. That had to happen, and the cop, the other cop was like, man, that's an Avenger, and by the end they end up taking in Bucky because he has a warrant out for his arrest because he missed a therapy appointment, which they say is like missing a meeting with your parole officer. But then Bucky gets out of prison, obviously, and the really messed up thing is the cops, when he's getting out, they're taking selfies with Bucky. Like, but then we learned that John Walker is responsible for getting Bucky out of prison. John's like, meet me outside, we have to talk and stuff. So then, but then first, Bucky has this therapy meeting, which Sam is in too. And, this was a really interesting scene. Probably my favorite scene from this episode. And the therapist, tries all these stuff until one thing works, and Bucky says he's mad at Sam because Sam gave up the shield, and and Steve trusted Sam to have that shield. So, Bucky wasn't really a big fan of that. And I could tell why. Bucky knew Sam since 1920 something, I bet. And it's 2023 in that world. But anyway, they go outside and meet Lamar and John, and we see John's cockiness here and how he I think we see the real John here, and how he's like, oh, we're gonna find him, we're gonna find them, we don't need your help, blah blah. And Sam and Bucky obviously don't like this, so they Sam and Bucky says to Sam that they have to go get Zemo. Basically, they're going to get Zemo, but I forgot about this subplot, but the Flag Smasher lady is hiding somewhere in Germany. Anyway, at the end, they're trying to get away with all the vaccines on the plane, and I forgot what his name is, but it's in the credits, man. I'm so sorry. I should have written this down, but it's this dude's name. His people are coming after them for stealing, and a Flag Smasher leader, a person in the Flag Smasher, sacrifices themselves so they can get away, and that's really it for my review, man. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really did. I thought it was a major step up from last episode, and I'm really looking forward to this series. I'm surprised how early Isaiah Bradley was introduced, but I guess the series is 6 episodes, so it's not gonna be like WandaVision. But this show is much more real than WandaVision, which kind of has me off guard, because WandaVision was like an escape, and this is a very real world show that could happen if superheroes were real. Uh, well, anyway, I have nothing more to say. If you would mind, you could subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Maybe even go into the description and follow our social medias if you would do that. It doesn't really matter, honestly, but it would just help us out a lot. We don't promote it, though. It's kind of stupid. But anyway, I'm rambling. Goodbye. Stay safe.